In this video, I'm going to show you LAGAN Knowledge Management 13R1, and we're going to start by having a look at Agent Desktop Search. So there's an all-new search application that's embedded in the Agent Desktop with 13R1, and this is it. So going to the home page here, I can get here in a number of different ways. I could have got here through script flow. I could have got here through the quick search, which is this search box at the top right of the application, or I could just navigate straight to the search application. It's an embedded web application, completely integrated and seamless with the LAGAN Agent Desktop. Looking at the home page, I see a number of things. I see a search box up here, so if I want to do some searches, I would start typing in there. And I also, in the main part of the screen, I also see a number of tabs. These tabs present different types of important knowledge items to me. Knowledge alerts, which are time-critical knowledge-related events, such as traffic issues or weather reports or anything that might be you might want to alert your agents. They're listed here. You get a nice description along with the ratings widget. And this is a common thing you'll see throughout the search application, the idea of users rating content. You'll see the number of ratings and the average rating, and that's used to actually rank content when it's searched for in the application. Next, we have top documents. Top documents really describe those pieces of content, those articles which have been rated in the past period. You can see quite a big list here. Different types of content, different icons used to help inform the user as to what type of content it is, and so on. We support, as you would expect, HTML content, spider web pages, obviously authored content of different kinds, PDF, Office documents, and so on. And then finally, in the default tabs, we have featured content. Featured content is any item, any authored article that you want to draw to the attention of users. You can mark it as featured very easily, and it appears in its own specialized tab. Okay, well, having had a look at that, we'll now do a couple of searches. So if I just start with abandoned vehicle, I'm deliberately misspelling this. Just to show you some of our did you mean and spell check features. So I've searched for my abandoned vehicle. I've misspelled actually both of the search terms that I was trying to find, and the system is smart enough to know that I actually meant abandoned vehicle spelled correctly. I simply click on that, and it will actually return the search results to me for the corrected spelling. So now that we've searched for abandoned vehicle, the corrected search, we're going to have a look at some of the articles that are available in the knowledge base for abandoned vehicles. You can see 3 returned here, 2 FAQs indicated by the Q icon, 1 article. So I'm going to start with the article, How to Report an Abandoned Vehicle. This is a typical content view, so I've moved from search results to the actual content now. All of the content is displayed in a similar format where we've got a navigation bar at the top that tells me the title of the document I'm looking at, a return button to get back to search results. I can copy the URL easily to the clipboard, and I can rate this document. And then obviously the content is the main area of the screen just below, how to report abandoned vehicles, some simple information, public and private, and you'll see this when we move into the authoring side and we have a look at authoring. You'll see that there's a clear division between public and private knowledge. There's a link to LAGAN to create a service request, report an abandoned vehicle, and down the right hand side I've got some related content. I can see articles which have been associated to this one, which are relevant, and I can follow those links and view the content of those articles very, very easily just by clicking on those links. If I wanted to quickly create a service request from this knowledge article, I could click on the link, launch as an e-form, maybe another script flow, and I can continue the process from there. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to return to my search results to show you a couple more things before we move on to looking at authoring. We support full pagination in search results. So I'm just going to put a broad search term in here. You can see there are lots of documents returned. These are fully paginated, and I can scroll through each page using the navigation numbers here on screen. I can use the checkboxes here to deselect certain types of content that I may not be interested in. Let's say I'm not interested in spider content for this particular search, and I can select topics to choose from. Topics are implemented through this idea of tags and collections of tags called tag sets. It's an important concept in terms of the organization of the knowledge base. And in a search scenario, I can use tags to help me effectively filter the knowledge base in terms of specific categories of information that I'm interested in. So I could say, for instance, I'm actually especially interested in environmental services, and I only want to search content that has got environmental services tagged against it. So if I search for vehicle, search for that with the tag environmental services, it will only return back articles which have been specifically tagged. So let's have a look at the authoring application. This is all new with LAGAN Knowledge 13R1. Just like to give you a brief overview, and then we'll actually go through the process of authoring a new piece of content. So it's a 3-pane layout. On the left hand side we've got filters and navigation aids. So this allows me, for instance, to filter by tags, multiple types of tags, and also by content category and workflow status. There is a built-in workflow that you can use to manage the draft and review and publishing of content to the knowledge base. I can create new articles by clicking on the icons provided here. And then in the middle tab I've got the ability to search for knowledge. I've also got handy lists of, for instance, the articles I last edited, any alerts that are on the system, any featured content, and so on. If we want to edit any specific article, we simply click on it and it appears in the right-hand pane. So you can see, here's the article view. I've got the public answer. If there's a private answer, I'll be able to see that too. I can see metadata about when this article was created, who created it, and so on. So lots of useful information about that specific article I've clicked on. Okay, so let's go through a simple process of creating a new piece of content. So to do that, I'm going to log in as a knowledge author with a more limited set of permissions. The knowledge author I'm logging in as is able to create content, but they can't publish it directly to the knowledge base. They don't have the permissions to do so. So let's straight away go in and create a new article. Click on the article tab. To save time, I have a Word document I'm just going to copy from. So I'm going to take the title there. Is there a right of succession when a tenant dies? This is a housing related issue. And I've got some content I'm going to paste in here. So that's just pasted directly from Word, which actually is quite a nice feature for those of you who have some knowledge stored in Word documents at the moment. For private information, I'm going to copy a link that works in the LAGAN application because I want to relate this piece of content to a LAGAN process, and I do that through a link that you see here. On the Tags tab, I can add the topic. So the topic is housing succession. I'm going to add that. And if I wanted to, for instance, I could add the region. If this was a piece of content that had a geographic element to it, and I wanted to be able to filter geographically, I could add a region tag to that. So I'm going to do that. Just say it's the North region. Obviously, that's just an invented region for the purposes of this demo. And then finally, related content. So I can relate other content to this article. To do that, what I do is I will search in the right-hand search pane, and it finds another tenancy article which seems to be relevant to this question, so I'm just going to relate the content together, and you can see that that's been done. So I'm going to hide my search bar, and just to show you the metadata that's available for content, down the right-hand side, so I've got content information, who edited it, who created it, and so on. Publishing date, if I wanted to, for instance, publish this at a later date or expire it automatically, I would do that here. Access control, I can define users or teams that should have access to this article or should not have access to this article. Attachments, if I want to attach some extra information to it, I can do so. Notes, full notes capability against each piece of content that is in the knowledge base. And weighting, I may wish to change the standard weighting of the text contained within this article so that it's pushed higher up the ranking for a given search. And that's more into tuning and that kind of thing for your search performance. So I'm happy with that. I can preview it if I want. There's a preview button, will just pop up a preview, but I'm just going to submit it directly for a review. I can add some notes if I want to. First draft. For instance, these will these notes will be visible to the reviewer. And once I confirm, it'll store that draft article in the knowledge base. It won't be published yet, so it won't be visible to self-service or to mobile, but it will be visible to the knowledge manager, who's going to pick up this article and actually process it and approve it. So I'm just going to log out and log in as a knowledge manager. I've logged in as a knowledge manager now, and I'm going to go to my work list. So the work list is my inbox for any work items that need to be addressed by me. The draft KM article is obviously in that work list right now, but it could also include, for instance, feedback from the website on some of the content. There is a capability for feedback to be sent through to the work list in the same way as you see the article is here. So I'm going to take that work. This allows me to process it. I could, for instance, publish it straight away. I might want to approve it and publish it later. I might want to reject it back to the original author because of some issue with it, and so on. I can edit it to enhance it somewhat, and so on. But I'm going to, having reviewed this, I think, yes, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to publish it straight away. Now we do have instant publishing in KM 13R1, so after a few seconds, the indexer will have indexed the content of that new piece of knowledge content, and it will add it to the index and it'll be immediately available for everyone who's using the knowledge base. Let's have a look at knowledge on the web using the web self-service portal. This component, which comes as part of LAGAN Knowledge 13R1, allows you to easily surface your knowledge base on the public internet. This demo I'm going to show you uses a default styling or theme that we've put together, but obviously it would be branded for you and your organization when it's put live on your website. It consists of a number of different components that together give a really compelling self-search knowledge experience for users. So let's have a look. Here I have a very simple search box. So let's have a look at some of the searches that will bring me back some content. So first of all, just go for our good old abandoned vehicle again. So we can see 3 knowledge items have been found for the search term abandoned vehicle. Very similar presentation and format compared with the agent view and the authoring view. You can see a nice icon here, the title, and a brief synopsis of what the article is about, all of which help the user find the piece of information they're looking for. So let's drill into one of them. And you can see, again, a very nice, clean layout. We've got the title, any tags that are relevant are presented here. We've got the ratings widget. So we're encouraging the self-service citizen population to rate the value of content just as we like agents to do that. There's a feedback link that allows the user, the citizen, to actually feedback comments and so on about the content that they're looking at. And the content itself, this can include tables, images, anything that makes the experience really rich for that user. If there is any related content, there isn't for this particular item. So let's see if we can get some content for this item. Yes, so we have some related content for how to report an abandoned vehicle, and that's presented in the right-hand bar for me to use. The did you mean functionality is available on the web as well. So if I misspell the word vehicle, did you mean understands I meant vehicles with an S, and gives me a full set of results for vehicles. If a lot of results are returned, pagination is included in the widget. So all of this is self-contained. It can be easily dropped into your website. And there are advanced filter options available as well. Web self-service uses responsive design, which means the same website can also be rendered attractively on a mobile device. To show you that, I'm using this iPhone 4, and I've got it connected up to my PC using screen scraping technology. So what you see on the screen behind me is exactly what I'm seeing as I use the mobile phone here. So if I start doing a simple search, for instance, for some of the content that we created earlier in this demo, perform the search in the same way, you can see that the search results are presented in a very similar way as they were for the web browser version, but formatted more attractively for the mobile device. There's the second article, is the one that we actually created in this demo, and you can see all the major elements of the content are there: the title, the topics tags, the ratings widget, so I can add another rating to that, and you can see all the text and scroll through it in the normal way as you would on a mobile phone. Related content, if there is any, will be presented at the bottom of the screen. It's a single column layout for a small mobile device, as opposed to a multi-column layout for a sort of PC-based web browser. And I can follow links and so on as you would expect. So that really summarizes the available product features in LAGAN Knowledge Management 13R1. Thanks for watching.